Hey everyone, this is Ian with AlphaCars and Motorcycles. Today I've got an exciting Royal Enfield to share with you in a brand new color. This is the 2023 Royal Enfield Meteor 350 in Fireball Matte Green. I think this color is awesome. I love all the accents with the pinstriping on the wheels, the tank color, even the little 350 is color matched as well to that really nice shade of green. I think it's a very attractive bike, but we'll get more into that in this video, as well as going over the general features, specifications, and accessories we offer for the Meteor. We will talk about that 3-year unlimited mileage warranty as well. So whether you already own a Meteor and you want to learn more, or you're deciding whether or not to purchase one, then you're in the right place. Definitely pay close attention to this video, because I hope I can help you make a decision by the end. If you're new to AlphaCars, welcome to the channel. We share daily motoring content, so please subscribe so then you don't miss out on exciting things like this Meteor. But now, let's take a closer look. So as I talk about this Meteor, I will show you around it in a very detailed fashion. Let's start with the beating heart, 350cc. Fuel-injected 4-stroke, single cylinder. We can see the beautiful side covers on the Meteor. You won't find a carburetor behind there. You'll find a modern fuel injection system. You'll find a throttle body with a fuel injector in there. And it is still cable operated. So the throttle response on these is great. The fueling is great as well. The cold start, awesome. Very eager throttle response. There's no kind of dead spot, so to speak. I have a road test on this platform, the Classic and Meteor, so I'll link that in the video right now for you to watch, so you can get my thoughts on the road manners of these bikes and that fueling that I talk about, that engine tuning. But these make 20 horsepower, 19.9 foot-pounds of torque, and they are very torquey. It feels like it's it almost feels like you've got a lot more power and torque than quoted there with how the power curve is on that engine. So like I said, check out that riding video I'll have posted in this video. It's air and oil cooled, so very simple, and it gives you that retro look. There's no complications of liquid cooling, no radiators or hoses to worry about, or additional fluids to have to maintain. We have these beautiful fins on the cylinder jug. We can see the top portion of them kind of have the edges cut to give a machined look, and even there's a little heat sink on the header there. It all looks really cool, and it is a 5-speed gearbox. So we've got a heel toe shifter as standard, which works great. The gearboxes on these are silky smooth, very easy to find neutral, and like I said, I speak from experience with that. It is a pleasure to use and to shift through those gears. The gas tank is 3.96 gallons, so pretty much a 4-gallon tank, and with a quoted 88 miles per gallon. You've got plenty of smiles per gallon, plenty of smiles per tank before you have to worry about finding a fuel stop, or you can go out on that trip for the day or for the afternoon and not have to worry about fueling up. And it just takes a lot of stress out of riding, having a good sized tank. This is 421 pounds wet. The wet weight is the actual weight of the motorcycle, so that's the actual weight you'll be handling and maneuvering. Don't be fooled, so to speak, by like a dry weight, because the bike has no fluids in it. So 421 pounds, and that's full of gas, oil, and brake fluid. So very standard weight for a bike in this class, in this size, and these are very easy to maneuver at low speeds. Pretty low center of gravity, doesn't feel really top heavy, and that seat height is very low as well, which I will get into that. It's a 30.1 inch seat height, very comfortable seat, and there's a seat for a pillion as well, and there's plenty of accessories we offer for these bikes. I'll go over more of a full list later in this video, but I will tell you there are seat options, there's touring seat options, there's even a backrest you can get for the passenger seat. But the factory one I've found is very, very comfortable. Let's talk about the kind of suspension, brakes, and wheels. So we've got a 19-inch alloy front wheel and a 17-inch rear alloy wheel with tubeless tires, 6.7 inches of ground clearance, so a very normal spec ground clearance. I guess you could say it's not super low where you're going to worry about like a speed bump or a rough road. And then we've got 6 positions of adjustability for the preload on the rear shocks, for the preload of the spring, and of course the bike in the factory toolkit comes with a tool to adjust that, so you can tune that to your riding style or if you have luggage or a passenger. And then we have a 270 millimeter disc on the rear, or rotor. It is drilled and it is a floating design with a single piston caliper. And on the front we have a 300 millimeter rotor, of course drilled and floating design with a dual piston caliper, and it does have standard ABS front and rear, so that's pretty awesome, nice and safe. A little bit of sand on the road or wet, it's wet out, road's greasy, you're just much better off with ABS, especially on the road. So it's nice, it's standard front and rear. I'll talk about the center stand now. We can see it is up on a center stand, and that is such really a value-added feature with these Royal Enfields, with these Meteors and Classics getting a center stand as standard. Most bikes now don't come with them anymore, and they're expensive to buy and have them fitted. They're usually a few $100s just to buy one, and then of course to pay someone's labor, depending on how intensive the job is on your bike, is going to be another few $100s. So center stands are just such a useful item. We can see the rear, the tire's up in the air. I can spin my rear tire. I can do chain maintenance. I could remove the tire if I needed, the wheel and tire. And it's great for storing the bike as well, because it's stored straight up, standing straight up, so it's not wasting any space being leaned over. So I like that Royal Enfield is kind of keeping that tradition alive of a center stand on a motorcycle, because they are just so useful. And most people, they buy a bike without one, and it's a necessity for them, so they immediately add one and have to pay that additional cost. Before I hop on it and start it up and show you the controls, I will mention a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty. That is just huge with how much Royal Enfield stands behind their product. You could ride your Meteor around the world in those 3 years and you'd still be under a factory warranty. So it's just super impressive. And these bikes are really European quality. The design, they're so robust. We sell hundreds of these a year, and we see little to none come back for warranty concerns. I personally, can't think of the last time we had one in for a warranty item. And I'm not just saying that, I am always aware of what's in the shop, as most of the time I'm back there documenting things for you guys on YouTube or for internal use. So like I said, these bikes are just so well sorted. Even once that warranty is up, you're still going to be riding stress-free on one of these. And it's evident, when you see one of these in person, I know this personally happened to me, it's really, it'll blow your mind how high quality all the components are, just the feel of everything. I'll talk about the grips once I'm on the bike. These bikes just really kind of outshine, their kind of price point in class. They really compete with a lot of bikes that are in a higher price point as far as quality goes, in my opinion, just working around these every day. I will mention I love the kind of retro style rear light, and that is LED as well, so it's nice and bright, nice and safe for those behind you to make sure you're seen. And I apologize for any kind of weird shadows today. It's a beautiful day in New England, but there's not a cloud in the sky. It's very sunny, so I'm trying to keep the best camera angles for you guys. So let's start off by going over our controls. Of course, we've got our clutch, our headlight control. So the low beam is always on. Flash to pass, you push it to the right, and then high beam, you push it to the left. And the button on the back, which usually you'd be used to the flash to pass or momentary high beam being there, that controls our multifunction on the gauge. So I will show you that in a couple minutes. We have our blinkers, not self-canceling, so just make sure to cancel those. And then our horn. And there is a USB charging plug as standard. If you see this cap, I'm flipping up right here. It's mounted under the clutch lever. So I love that Royal Enfield discreetly did that. So then, let's say you want to have your phone on a phone mount right here, or a GPS, you can run like literally a 1-foot cord along the factory harness and have it just look super clean and not have, clutter anywhere. I just really like that, what they did as far as where they put that, and including that as standard. Once again, a lot of bikes, even in a higher price point, don't even have, a little USB port as standard. And we know everyone now uses a phone or a GPS, for their travel. So it's really just becoming more standard now for manufacturers who kind of, realize that. The grips, I will mention now that I'm on the throttle side, they're like a soft touch. You can see they have a little bit of give. These grips are so comfortable. As I've said, I've been on bikes that are in a higher price point and the grips almost feel like plastic. It's just, once again, very impressive. Even these 3-way switches, we can see this is Royal Enfield since 1901. They just made them kind of look nice and almost kind of pretty. They could have just left this, a blank piece of plastic and no one probably would have said anything, but they just went that extra step. Their attention to detail is just awesome. So now talking about that switch, we're in the run position right now. This is kill and start, you just bump it to the left. We have standard 4-way flashers. So how you use those, you turn on the key, flick that over. We can see our 4-ways come on there, and you can actually turn off the key and they'll stay on. So if unfortunately you're in emergency situation or you just want to be seen, you don't have to leave your ignition on, you can leave those 4-ways on. And then to turn them off, you just flick the switch back and they turn right off. Once again, a huge kind of value feature that is really impressive to have on a bike at this value, at this price point. And of course we have our front brake and our throttle, which I mentioned. The brakes on this bike, as I showed you a few minutes ago, they bite great, very responsive, very easy to modulate. We can see there's not a ton of travel, they're not like spongy, just very pleasant to use and easy to use. So now turning on our gauge here, I believe you can see that okay with the kind of sun's reflection. We have a fuel gauge. You can see there's three bars right now, but it does go all the way to full. Once again, an awesome feature on modern bikes. I love. It takes that stress out of riding, of checking your fuel tank, like having to look in it or remembering when you fueled up last at the mileage. It's just like hopping in your car and you can just check your fuel gauge and be on your way. We're on our odometer right now, and if I click that button I showed you earlier, we can go to our trip A, trip B, and back to our odometer. And if we want to reset one of these trips, all we do is hold the button on our respective trip and it goes back to 0 in just a couple seconds. We can see we have a clock on here as well, and our gear. So right now it says gear 0 because we're in neutral. So if I click it to first, we can see it goes to 1 and then pop it back into neutral. So once again, just takes another thought out of riding, having to maybe keep track of what gear you're in, or you're forgetting and then you have to figure it out. So I just kind of really like that. And just showing you the controls, that heel toe shifter is just so nice to use, super comfortable. Where the pegs are, it's just such a nice, comfortable position. And we have our foot brake for the rear brake there. Just all very, very nice and very well thought out. So now this is an ice cold start. It's about 55, 60 degrees today in New England. I'll put my hand on the header for you to show you. I can literally grab the header. The header actually feels colder than my hand. I think it's taking heat out of my hand. So the ignition's on. It's in neutral. All we do is bump the starter. Starts right up. Nice smooth idle. And you can literally start one of these up, let it idle for 5 or 10 seconds, and then get on the road, hop on the road. And a carbureted bike, usually, depending on the engine and how it's tuned, of course, but usually you've got to let it warm up a decent amount. You're keeping track of where the choke is for a while. And it can be kind of dangerous to try to get on the road with a cold, carbureted bike, because it doesn't have the power it should. So once again, just a very impressive thing. I'll give it a couple small revs for you because it is cold. So now shutting that off. These sound awesome. You can hear it great in that road test video I talked about. Very, throaty pipe, not annoying, so to speak, or too loud. It's just a nice, enjoyable tone. It really just puts a smile on your face and brings out that, classic thumper sound of that big piston in there and that 350cc single. So now we've got to one of our last segments, which is accessories. So we've got things like a rear luggage rack, different saddlebag and pannier setups for these, various windscreens, various engine protection offerings. So whether you want some discrete protection that's small, or some big wide engine bars, or people call them crash bars. I like to call it engine protection because no one wants to have a crash. We have wide ones where you can put your feet on them, like on the highway. Various options there, and they look stylish as well, of course. Who doesn't love a customized bike? We have an LED headlight bulb, which makes a big improvement over the factory halogen, especially the high beam, low and high beam performance. Really just inspires a lot of confidence at night. We offer adjustable levers for these as well. I find the factory levers to be pretty comfortable for my hands and style of riding, but if you want to be able to adjust them a bit closer, a bit farther from the bar, and have them be a slightly different shape as well, that kind of locks your fingers into them a bit better, then we have that option on our e-store, so check that out. I had already talked about the seat options, and we even have lowering shocks. Already it's a 30.1 inch seat height, but if you want it that much lower, we have lowering shocks for the back, and then the front you can lower equally by slipping the fork tubes up on the clamp. So various options, no matter who you are, first time rider, if this is gonna be your first bike, or if you've ridden for 50 years, no matter who we've talked to, no matter who has what riding experience, everybody just really raves about these and loves them. We get great feedback. And me personally, it puts a smile on my face anytime I ride one of these. I love riding these, and I've ridden many different bikes over the years. So just very, very exciting offering from Royal Enfield. Their new lineup is just pretty spectacular, in my opinion. You just gotta come check them out. Come stop by, say hi, and we'd be happy to show you all these new bikes from Royal Enfield. So if speaking of that, if you're not local to us and you can't stop by, we do still make it very easy if you want to purchase one from us. We handle all the kind of shipping and logistics. So feel free to give us a call, 978-263-9000. Also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We do post a lot of cool content there, and even kind of tease bikes and videos like this before it's officially out, so you can kind of be in the know before everyone else. And leave a like on this video. We appreciate your support, and don't forget to subscribe so then you don't miss the daily content. This has been Ian reporting from our Boxborough location, and until next time.